What if I told you that you could be losing your life 1 hour at a time? That every minute you spend scrolling, waiting, or putting things off is slowly stealing your future from you? This is the story of a young man who thought he had plenty of time, who believed life would wait for him, but it didn't. He wasn't poor, he wasn't unlucky, he wasn't sick or broken. Everything he needed was right in front of him: supportive parents, a safe home, dreams in his mind. Yet he lost years of his life, not because of failure, but because he didn't understand the value of time. He didn't see how precious each hour really was. While others around him were building, learning, growing, he was waiting for motivation, waiting for the right moment, waiting for a perfect plan that would never come. He scrolled through social media, watched videos, and distracted himself with comfort. Every day looked normal from the outside. Friends didn't notice anything wrong. Family didn't see the warning signs. But inside, he was slowly disappearing. Every hour he wasted was a piece of his life slipping away, silently, invisibly, without alarm. By the time he realized what was happening, much of his 20s had vanished. Not because he failed, not because he tried and lost, but because he never tried at all. The opportunities, the experiences, the growth he could have had, gone. Time had moved on without him. This story is not just a warning, it's an eye-opener, it's a wake-up call, and it's more than motivation, it's a lesson in discipline, in action, and in understanding the real value of every second you have. As you listen, you'll not only see why time is so powerful, but you'll also practice English in a meaningful, emotional context. Every word, every sentence is designed to help you follow, understand, and learn while being inspired to take action in your own life. So pay attention, because what you hear today could change how you spend every single hour from this moment onward. This is the story of time lost and time taken back. Let's begin. My name is Ethan, and for most of my 20s, I didn't care about time. I wasn't poor, I wasn't struggling. I had a roof over my head, food on the table, supportive parents, and a phone in my hand. I had dreams, big dreams, but no direction. I thought I had time. I thought life would wait for me. But life never waits. When I was 20, my days had a routine, but not the kind that built anything. I would wake up at 10 in the morning, scroll on my phone for an hour, eat slowly, and then sit in my room doing nothing important. I told myself I'll be productive later, but later never came. I watched videos that made me feel inspired for 5 minutes and empty for the rest of the day. By the evening, I would say, it's okay, tomorrow I'll start for real. And then tomorrow, I repeated the exact same routine. It wasn't obvious to anyone else. I wasn't failing exams, I wasn't in trouble, and I wasn't depressed. From the outside, I looked fine, but inside, a small voice was screaming. It was asking for more, for meaning, for action. I ignored it because it was easier to distract myself than to confront the truth. I wasn't completely lazy. My mind was always busy. I planned big goals in my head. I imagined success. I pictured interviews, promotions, respect, money. I imagined helping my parents. I even imagined becoming someone people admired. But all of it stayed in my imagination. Nothing became real because I never took action. While I was waiting, life moved forward. My friends started working jobs, building careers, posting online, gaining followers. I would tell myself, good for them, I'll start later. Later turned into months, months turned into years, and years passed silently.
Every time I thought of starting something, photography, freelancing, applying for internships, I felt a spark of excitement for 10 minutes. Then I talked myself out of it. I'm not ready. It's not the right time. I need a perfect plan. And so I waited. Time, however, doesn't wait for anyone. It moves quietly, steadily, and without mercy. Every small habit, every small excuse stole a piece of my life. Scrolling on my phone, watching videos, chatting endlessly, it all seemed harmless. But every day, those small moments added up. I wasn't just behind, I was slowly becoming irrelevant. By the time I turned 24, my cousin got promoted at a big company. My childhood friend bought a car. A former classmate moved abroad. Even the people I thought were wasting time were now building their lives. And me? I was still waking up at 10, still scrolling, still stuck. Each time I looked in the mirror, I didn't hate how I looked. I hated the truth I saw. I hated knowing that I had wasted so much. I wasn't in pain yet. I hadn't failed yet. But failure was coming, and it would arrive silently, the way time always does, to those who don't respect it. The lesson I learned, slowly and painfully, is that time doesn't need you to notice it. Time doesn't care if you have dreams or plans. It only rewards those who act. And if you waste it, even a little, day by day, year by year, it takes your life with it, quietly, invisibly, without warning. That's the story of my 20s, a decade lost, not to failure, not to bad luck, but to my own inaction. It was comfortable, it was easy, it was invisible, and yet it was killing me more than I could see. Every hour I spent distracted, every excuse I made, every plan I postponed, it all added up. I didn't even know how much I was losing until it was almost too late. If you are watching this and feel like your life is okay, but nothing is really growing, listen closely. You may think comfort is harmless. You may think waiting for the right time is smart. But every small delay is slowly stealing your future. Every wasted hour is a brick in the wall between you and your dreams. This is part 1, the years that slipped away. And the truth is painful. You can't earn back the time you've lost, but recognizing it is the first step to taking it back. By the time I was 28, nothing had changed. I was still living in the same small room, still scrolling endlessly on my phone, still hiding behind excuses. I told myself, it's not too late, I'll start tomorrow. But deep down, I knew the truth. The quiet weight of wasted time pressed on me like an invisible hand. Every time I opened social media, I saw people younger than me achieving things I had only dreamed about. They were living. I was still waiting. I had no job. I had no money. I had no clear identity. I had only a fading dream of becoming a photographer and a phone full of apps that stole my focus. But I didn't want to admit it. Admitting it meant facing the painful truth. I had wasted 8 years of my life. So I lied to myself every day. I just need a little motivation, I would say. I'll start next Monday. I'll do it soon. I'm different. My time will come. And then, one ordinary evening, the world hit me harder than ever before. I was lying on my bed, scrolling through reels, laughing at things that didn't matter, wasting yet another hour I would never get back. My phone rang. It was an old friend, Daniel. We hadn't spoken in months, maybe even a year. I picked up the call, trying to sound normal, but his energy was different. He sounded excited. "Bro," he said, "I'm getting married, and I want you to do the wedding shoot. You were always good at photography. I remember your pictures." For a moment, I smiled. Finally, someone remembered my dream. Someone believed in me. But then, reality hit. I hadn't touched my camera in 2 years. I hadn't practiced. I hadn't learned a single new skill. My dream was still alive in my head, but my hands were empty. I had nothing to offer. I lied again. Bro, I'm not doing photography anymore. I left it. I'm doing something else now. His voice softened. Oh, okay. No problem. I'll ask someone else. Let's still meet at the wedding. After the call ended, I sat there staring at the wall. The laughter stopped. The screen went dark. The silence in my room became unbearable. That was the moment I saw it all clearly. The years I had wasted. All the mornings I told myself 5 more minutes, all the nights I promised I would start tomorrow, all the hours lost scrolling, watching videos, and avoiding action. It was 8 years of my life gone, and I had no one to blame but myself. I went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. For the first time, I really saw myself. Dark circles under my eyes, tired shoulders, empty gaze. This wasn't the boy who once dreamed of traveling the world with his camera. This was a boy who had betrayed himself. The pain I felt wasn't dramatic or loud. It was quiet, deep, and relentless. The kind of pain that eats at you when no one is watching. The pain of realizing that comfort had stolen my ambition. I cried that night, not because of failure, but because I had never truly tried. I realized that the biggest enemy of success isn't failure, it's silence. It's the invisible days, the casual hours, the tiny excuses that make you think everything is okay while life moves on without you. The next morning, I didn't touch my phone. I didn't scroll. I didn't check messages or social media. I just sat in silence, listening to myself for the first time in years. I knew I couldn't blame anyone else, my parents, my friends, my school, or the world. I had destroyed my life with my own hands. That day, I made a decision. No more waiting, no more comfort, no more excuses. I would start small. I would do something real every day. I would rebuild, even if it was messy, even if it was scary, even if no one noticed. Because time doesn't wait. Comfort kills ambition, and if I didn't act now, the rest of my life would look exactly like the years I had already lost. That was my wake-up call, the moment I realized that life rewards doers, not dreamers, the moment I understood that the clock is always ticking, and the most dangerous enemy isn't failure, it's delay. I knew that from this day forward, I had to fight for every hour, every minute, every second, because if I didn't, I would lose not just opportunities, but myself. And so, for the first time, I took the first real step. I reached for my old, dusty camera. I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew one thing. I would never waste time like that again. The next morning, I woke up before my alarm. Not because I was motivated, but because regret doesn't let you sleep. For the first time in years, I didn't touch my phone. I didn't scroll. I didn't escape. I sat on my bed in silence and listened to my thoughts. They were loud. They were painful, but they were honest. I told myself something simple. I'm not chasing success anymore. I'm chasing discipline. No big goals, no perfect plans, just action. Small, real action. I made one rule for myself. Do something real for 7 days, no matter how small. Day 1 was hard. I woke up at 6:30 a.m. My body hated it. My mind begged me to go back to sleep, but I didn't listen. I sat at my desk with a notebook and wrote 3 things. What am I feeling? Where did I waste time yesterday? What is one small thing I can do today? That day, I cleaned my room, not because it was dirty, but because it represented my life. Messy, unclear, stuck. When I finished, I felt tired, but for the first time in years, I felt in control. Day 2, I watched 3 beginner photography tutorials. Not motivational videos, no speeches, just skills, just learning. I took notes, I paused, I practiced. It felt boring, and that's when I knew it was working. Day 3, I picked up my old camera and went outside. The lens was cracked, the battery was weak, my hands felt awkward. I took photos of strangers, buildings, flowers, anything. I felt embarrassed, but when I came home and saw the photos, something surprised me. They were not perfect, but they were alive, and so was I. Day 4, I created an Instagram page. No profile picture, no bio, no followers. I uploaded one photo, just one. I didn't wait for likes. I didn't care who saw it. This time, I wasn't posting for attention. I was posting for discipline. Days 5 to 7 were simple. Wake up early, no phone for 2 hours, write, learn, practice, shoot, edit, upload, repeat. There were no results, no praise, no encouragement. My friends didn't notice. My family thought it was another phase. But I didn't need noise. I needed silence, because silence is where discipline grows. I started building small routines, drinking water in the morning, cold showers, reading one article a day, practicing editing for 30 minutes every night, studying basic business ideas. None of it was exciting, none of it was impressive, but it was real. Did I feel good? No. The guilt was still there. The regret still burned. Every time I saw someone younger doing better, it hurt. But I told myself this: yes, you are behind, but every second you waste now is a crime against your future self. So I kept going. I didn't chase motivation. I didn't wait to feel ready. I focused on momentum. One small win per day. One action, one honest effort. At 29, I got my first paid client, a small birthday shoot. I charged almost nothing. I worked all night editing, not because I had to, but because it mattered. When I got paid, it wasn't about money, it was about identity. I had earned back a piece of myself. I reinvested everything. No celebration, no excuses, just progress. I wasn't successful yet. I wasn't confident yet, but I had started, and starting changed everything. Because time had taken so much from me, but now, for the first time, I was taking my time back, one disciplined day at a time.
I was still behind. Behind in age, behind in money, behind in success. But for the first time in my life, I was ahead of who I used to be. I didn't have expensive equipment. I didn't have a studio. I didn't have a car or a big following. I had a cracked lens, a cheap tripod, and a small routine that I followed every day. That routine was slowly changing me. No one noticed at first. No one clapped. No one said, "You're doing great." And that was okay, because this rise was happening quietly, without noise or attention. I kept posting one photo every day, not to go viral, not to get famous, just to stay consistent. Each photo had a short story. Sometimes it was about struggle, sometimes regret, sometimes hope. I wasn't trying to impress people. I was trying to be honest with myself. Slowly, something strange happened. One comment became 5. 5 became 10. One follower became 50. One day, a stranger sent me a message. It said, "Your page feels real. I come here to feel something honest." That message meant more than 1,000 likes. It showed me something important. People don't follow perfection. They follow truth. At 30, I applied for a small photography job with a travel agency. I sent my photos and my story. They replied politely, but they rejected me. They said they wanted someone younger with more experience. It hurt. It reminded me of the years I wasted doing nothing. But this time, I didn't quit. I made a new rule for myself. Rejection means you are trying, and trying means you are moving forward, even if it hurts. I renamed my page Time You Lost. I started sharing lessons, not just photos. I wrote captions like, "Don't wait until you're ready. I wasted years doing that." People began to reply. They said, "I feel the same. I thought I was alone. Thank you for this."
Without planning it, I built a small community, not of successful people, but of honest people trying to rebuild their lives. I wasn't famous, I wasn't rich, but I was useful, and for the first time, that felt like enough. Then one day, a small nonprofit organization contacted me. They worked in mental health. They said they liked how I used photography to tell emotional stories. They asked if I could help with an awareness campaign. I didn't ask about money. I just said yes. That project changed me. I photographed people who survived depression, anxiety, and addiction. I listened to their stories. I saw pain in their eyes that looked just like mine. When the campaign went live, people shared it. They cried. They wrote messages. That was the moment I understood something deeply. When you use your time with purpose, it multiplies. From that point on, I protected my time like it was my life, because it was. I built a clear routine: wake up early, read books, not screens, work deeply for hours without my phone, practice my skill every day, sleep early, repeat. I became boring. No parties, no endless scrolling, no distractions. But my life started moving again. At 31, a brand offered me $800 for a full-day shoot. When I read the email, I didn't feel rich. I felt respected. Someone finally valued my time. I delivered more than they asked for. I finished early. I added extra work. They referred me to others. Slowly, paid work became regular work. Years passed quietly. By 33, I had structure. I had systems. I had peace. I wasn't chasing motivation anymore. I was living on discipline. Small actions, repeated daily. That's where real success lives. Not in speeches, not in excitement, but in consistency. The rise people see is always loud. The rise that matters is silent. And mine was happening, one ordinary day at a time. After years of rebuilding my life, I stopped and looked back. Not with pride, not with anger, but with honesty. I saw patterns. I saw mistakes. I saw lessons that time forced me to learn slowly. These lessons didn't come from books or teachers. They came from regret, effort, and quiet days spent alone with my thoughts. Here are the 5 life lessons time taught me. Lesson 1. Time moves even when you don't. For years, I stayed still. I waited to feel ready. I waited to feel confident. I waited for the right moment. But time never waited for me. Days passed. Years passed. Life kept moving forward. I learned that stopping is still a choice, and every choice has a cost. If you do nothing today, tomorrow still arrives, with or without you. Lesson 2. Motivation is not your friend. I believed motivation would save me. I thought one day I would wake up full of energy and change everything. That day never came. Motivation is emotional. It disappears when life becomes hard. Discipline is different. Discipline works even when you feel tired, bored, or afraid. Progress begins when action comes first, not feelings or excuses. Lesson 3. Small habits decide big futures. My life didn't fail because of one big mistake. It failed because of small habits repeated daily. Sleeping late, scrolling endlessly, avoiding discomfort. And my life improved the same way. One early morning, one focused hour, one skill practiced every day. Small habits seem harmless, but over time they build or destroy your future quietly. Lesson 4. Comfort slowly kills growth. Comfort feels good, but it keeps you small. I stayed comfortable for years, and nothing changed. Growth started when I chose discomfort, waking up early, learning new skills, being bad before becoming better. If something feels difficult but meaningful, it is often the right path. Growth always asks for effort before it gives results. Lesson 5. Your time shows what you truly value. I used to say my dreams were important, but my time told the truth. I gave hours to things that gave nothing back. When I started protecting my time, my life changed. I planned my days. I limited distractions. I said no more often. What you spend time on is what you are choosing to become. These lessons didn't make me perfect. I still struggle. I still waste some time sometimes, but now I notice it faster. I correct my direction sooner. And that small awareness saves years of regret and pain. If you feel behind, remember this: you are not broken, you are not late, you are just one decision away from using time better. You don't need a new life, you need a new respect for time. Start small. One habit, 1 hour, one honest action today. Because one day you will look back and realize this moment was not too late, it was the beginning.
There is a cost to wasted time. Not always money, not always failure. Sometimes the cost is invisible. For a long time, I didn't see it. I thought wasting time was harmless. Just one more video, one more late night, one more excuse. I told myself I was young. I told myself I had time. But the cost was growing quietly in the background. The first cost was missed chances. Opportunities came, but I wasn't ready. Not because I wasn't smart, but because I wasn't disciplined. While others were learning, I was delaying. While others were practicing, I was distracting myself. By the time I wanted to act, many doors were already closed. The second cost was confidence. Every day I wasted made me trust myself less. I made promises to myself and broke them again and again. Over time, that damage added up. I stopped believing my own words. I stopped trusting my own plans. Wasted time doesn't just steal hours, it steals belief. The third cost was relationships. I avoided hard conversations. I delayed responsibility. I stayed passive. Slowly, people moved forward without me. Some friends outgrew me. Some connections faded, not because they were better than me, but because they respected their time more than I did. The fourth cost was mental weight. Regret is heavy. Every wasted year adds pressure to the mind. You wake up tired, not because you worked hard, but because your thoughts never rest. You replay the past. You imagine what could have been. That mental weight follows you everywhere. The most painful cost was identity. For years, I didn't know who I was, not because I lacked talent, but because I never committed long enough to discover myself. Wasted time keeps you shallow. Focus gives you depth. Until I respected time, I never truly met myself. One day, I saw someone younger than me doing the work I avoided. They weren't special, they weren't lucky, they were consistent. That moment hurt deeply, not because they succeeded, but because I knew I could have been there too. That's when I understood something important. Time doesn't punish you loudly. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It takes small things first: energy, focus, confidence. Then one day you look back and realize the price was much higher than you expected. Wasted time creates distance. Distance between who you are and who you could be. The good news is this: the cost stops growing the moment you change direction. You cannot get back lost years, but you can stop losing new ones. The moment you act with intention, time starts working with you instead of against you. You don't need to fix your whole life. You need to stop leaking time. Close one distraction. Keep one promise. Protect 1 hour today. Because the cost of wasted time is real, but the reward of respected time is greater. After seeing the cost of wasted time, I knew I had to change. But change didn't come from inspiration or motivation. Change came from discipline. The kind that doesn't look exciting, the kind that doesn't promise overnight success, the kind that builds quietly, day by day. Discipline is simple but hard. It is about choosing action over comfort, about showing up when you don't feel like it, about doing the things that matter even when the world is noisy. And I started small. The first step was morning control. I stopped waking up late. I stopped checking my phone first thing. Instead, I woke up, made my bed, and planned my day. One small ritual gave me control over the first hour. That 1 hour shaped the next 23. Next, I built focused work periods. I blocked time for deep work. No social media, no distractions, just work on what mattered. My photography, my skills, my storytelling. 1 hour at first, then 2, then 3. Each day I pushed the boundary a little. Discipline was showing up for myself, hour after hour. I also started tracking my progress. Simple notes in a journal. What I did, what I learned, what I improved. Reflection made me accountable. It showed me small wins I would otherwise ignore. Progress became visible, and that made consistency easier. Another key was saying no. I cut out unnecessary meetings, endless scrolling, meaningless chats. Every yes to distraction was a no to my goals. I learned that protecting my time was not selfish, it was essential. Each yes had a cost. Each no created space for growth. I created evening rituals. I stopped staying up late watching things that added nothing. Instead, I read books, reviewed my day, and planned tomorrow. Sleep became part of my discipline, not an afterthought. Energy became consistent. Focus became sharper. Life became calmer. Discipline is not glamorous. It is boring, repetitive, invisible, but it is powerful. The first few weeks felt slow. Nothing changed externally, but internally, my confidence grew. My mind felt clear. My sense of purpose became real. I combined small habits into a routine. Wake up early, read, work deeply, practice daily, sleep early. Repeat. That simple loop replaced uncertainty with control. Small actions compounded. Slowly, doors opened. Opportunities came. Recognition followed. But it was never about luck. It was about showing up every day without fail. I also learned patience. Discipline rewards you over time. Not immediately, not in hours, but in months and years. The work you do quietly accumulates into results you can't ignore. Each repeated action is a vote for who you want to become. By the end of that year, I was no longer chasing inspiration. I was living on discipline. Motivation came and went, but discipline carried me forward. It shaped my habits, my mindset, my work, and my relationships. I became someone who could rely on myself. Discipline doesn't just change your day, it changes your life. It is the bridge between wasted time and meaningful growth, between regret and purpose, between who you are and who you can become. I finally understood. The rise I wanted was not in motivation, in luck, or in talent. It was in repeated action, daily discipline, invisible, boring, consistent. That was what changed everything. And once discipline became my foundation, everything else, skills, confidence, opportunities, followed naturally. Discipline gave me control, but it was patience and consistency that turned my actions into results. I realized that doing the right things once was not enough. Doing them every day, without skipping, was what made the difference. Consistency compounds. Small actions repeated over time become big changes. I had to unlearn a lot of expectations. I wanted fast results. I wanted recognition quickly. I wanted life to change immediately. But life doesn't work that way. Growth is slow. Success is quiet. Real progress often goes unnoticed at first. And that's why patience is essential. Without it, we quit too soon. We abandon what matters just because we cannot see the results yet. I started measuring progress differently, not by likes, followers, or money, but by how consistent I was. Did I show up today? Did I do my work? Did I follow my routine? Each yes was a step forward. Each no was a lesson, a reminder to recommit. My mindset shifted. I stopped chasing instant gratification. I started chasing long-term growth. Consistency became my shield against distraction. Every day I worked on photography, storytelling, and learning. Even when I felt tired, even when I felt uninspired, even when no one noticed, that quiet repetition built skills, confidence, and credibility. Slowly, my work improved. Opportunities appeared. People started noticing, not overnight, but over months and years. I also learned patience with myself. I made mistakes. I wasted time sometimes. I failed. But I forgave myself and returned to the routine. Progress is rarely linear. There are setbacks, there are plateaus, there are days when nothing seems to move forward. Patience allowed me to endure, to keep showing up even when results were invisible. I discovered that patience and consistency feed each other. Patience allows you to continue despite slow results. Consistency builds evidence that your effort matters. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. One small, repeated action leads to another. 1 week of effort leads to a month. 1 year of consistency transforms your life, quietly but completely. By committing to patience, I stopped comparing myself to others. I stopped measuring my journey by other people's highlights. I focused on my path, my growth, my small wins. Each day became meaningful. Each step forward, no matter how tiny, mattered. Consistency also built trust. Trust with myself and others. Clients began relying on me because I delivered reliably. Friends and followers valued my presence because I showed up steadily. Discipline without consistency is wasted energy. Patience without action is wasted time. Together, they become unstoppable. I learned to celebrate small milestones, not just big achievements. Finishing a project, learning a new skill, keeping a routine for a month, all of these mattered. They reminded me that the journey is as important as the destination. Every day of effort counts. Every repeated action is a vote for who you want to become. Years passed. By 35, my life had transformed quietly. Skills, work, relationships, mindset, they all reflected the cumulative power of patience and consistency. I wasn't chasing excitement anymore. I was living steady growth. Each small effort compounded into a life that I once thought was impossible. And I finally understood something deeply. Fast results are temporary, but slow, steady progress lasts. Big leaps are rare. Small steps repeated daily create unshakable foundations. Consistency is invisible until the moment it becomes undeniable. Patience ensures you keep moving even when you can't see the finish line. In the end, patience and consistency taught me more than any success story, course, or mentor ever could. They showed me that time rewards those who respect it, honor it, and use it wisely. They showed me that life doesn't need bursts of brilliance. It needs daily, steady action. And that quiet, patient work is what creates lives worth living. The rise that matters is not loud.
It is built day by day, step by step, moment by moment. And once you commit to patience and consistency, the results follow. They always follow.
After years of mistakes, struggle, and slow growth, I finally understood one truth clearly. Your time is now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready or perfect, now. Every second you hesitate is a second you cannot get back. Every hour spent waiting is an hour lost. I realized that life doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't care about excuses, fear, or comfort. It moves forward, with or without you. For decades, I had given my time to distractions, to comfort, to the illusion that I would start later. I waited for the perfect conditions. I waited for the perfect skill. I waited for motivation. And for years, life passed me by. But once I started acting immediately, the momentum changed everything. One small decision today can create a ripple that lasts for years. The question is, will you act or wait? I began to see my daily routine not as a chore, but as a declaration. Waking up early, working deeply, learning a skill, sharing my work, connecting with people. Each action was a choice to honor my time. No longer would I give hours to meaningless scrolling, to people or things that drained me, or to excuses that kept me stuck. Time is the most valuable currency we have. Once it's gone forever. Opportunities stopped being random. They started coming because I consistently put myself in motion. People notice effort over hype, progress over promises, patience over impatience, consistency over chaos. Your time is your most powerful tool. Treat it like it matters, because it does. I also learned to embrace fear. Action doesn't come from comfort, it comes from courage. Taking the first step, even if small, is the act that changes everything. Every project, every goal, every dream starts with that tiny, imperfect action. Waiting for confidence guarantees delay. Acting despite fear builds momentum. Your time is now, not when conditions are perfect, not when the world gives permission. Waiting only magnifies regret. Every day you delay is a day you can never recover. You don't need clarity, you don't need permission, you need courage and commitment to start. Start with 1 hour, start with one habit, start with one honest action. The most important lesson I've learned is this: ordinary days build extraordinary lives. The slow, quiet, patient work compounds. Every effort counts, every small choice adds up. When you start now, you begin a chain of events that can transform your life, quietly but powerfully. Look around. The future isn't promised. The past is gone. This moment, the one you have right now, is everything. The time to act, to create, to grow, and to change is not later. It is today. So stop waiting. Take control. Protect your time. Commit to daily action. Be disciplined. Be patient. Be consistent. Every step you take now builds a life worth living. Every choice matters. Every moment is an opportunity. Your life is not waiting for you. Your time is now. Start. One step, one day, one action, and watch how patience, consistency, and courage turn ordinary days into a life you never imagined possible. The rise you've been waiting for isn't somewhere in the future. It's happening quietly, right now, with every choice you make. The question is simple. Will you take it? And that's the story. A story of lost time and how one person finally took control. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about showing up, even when it's hard, boring, or uncomfortable. Action beats waiting. Discipline beats motivation. Momentum beats excuses. If you've ever felt behind, your time is now. Take one small action today. Write, create, call, practice. Do it consistently. Repeat tomorrow. The world may not notice, and that's okay. The only approval you need is your own. Remember, every hour you waste is gone forever, but every hour you spend wisely multiplies. Start today. Protect your time. Build your life. One small step repeated daily changes everything. If this video inspired you, hit like, share it with someone who needs this, and subscribe for more stories and tips to take control of your time and your life. Your time is now. Don't let it slip away.